Hey everybody, I'm JJ, you're watching Reality Survival, and today we are going to have a hypothetical discussion about 10 items not to stock up on for long-term SHTF kind of situation. So government collapses, everything's gone bad, shit's gone sideways, whatever. We're talking in a period of 2 years or more, right? Where society is disrupted for some weird reason for 2 years or longer. These are things that you do not want to stock up with, and then on at least some of them I'll provide some good alternatives. So I got some notes in my phone here that I'm kind of referring to. So the first one is gold, silver, or precious metals. Personally, I don't think that they're going to be of much utility, much value. I mean, if you have everything else covered like super well, then maybe you want to start looking at those, but I'm not a big believer in those. I think instead you should look at tools, livestock, ammo, food, seeds, those kinds of things. Kinds of things that would be of utility. So yeah, that's number one. And these are really in no particular order, just random items. Number two, this one might be a little controversial, especially for some of the guys who are really into this, but that is reloading supplies. And I say this because I think it makes more sense to just stock up on cases of preloaded ammo. And here's the thing, I mean, if you had several thousand rounds of ammunition, the chance that you're going to live through shooting that much ammo in some kind of a weird combat, insurgency style thing is pretty low. Because people tend to die in gunfights, all right? So it's unlikely that you're gonna need more than, however many thousands of rounds you think is appropriate, right? So it would be fairly easy to do. But here's the other thing that's really kind of the most critical, is that making reliable black powder is not really a very realistic option for most people, unless you have a really good lab and high quality refined materials and those kinds of things. And the part of the black powder will be difficult. Even harder than that though is making primers and the chemicals that are required for that and everything like that. Now you could go black powder, like a black powder gun. That is a little bit more of a realistic option if you're doing like a flintlock or something along those lines where you didn't have to have a primer. But even still, getting the black powder right to where it's reliable, it's not a real easy thing, as some people think that it is. And I think it makes more sense personally just to stock up on, load up on cases. Okay, so number three is ramen noodles. Ramen noodles are cheap, and a lot of people like to buy them and put them back, but they will remain edible for quite a long time, but they start to taste bad after about a year or so. They start to get kind of nasty. A more practical option is storing wheat berries, which will last 30 years or longer. If you have a grinder to grind that up and make flour, then you can make your own pasta. And that is probably a better option as far as that goes. Number four is toilet paper. Oddly enough, given the recent shortage, it's kind of funny. For short-term shortage, yeah, stocking some toilet paper makes total sense, and I do it too. But for a long-term grid down kind of situation, you really want to start to think about some sort of a sustainable system, like maybe several hundred cotton shop cloth, towels, like rags. And you combine these with like multiple buckets where you could do like a pre-wash and then a wash and then rinse and then sanitize and rinse again, like a station where you could kind of clean those and reuse them. Because leaves is going to get real old real quick, especially in the fall. And then corn cobs and different things. It's just not, it's not a good situation. So you want to have something a little bit more sanitary. What's up, bud? So number 5 is a generator. Now, again, generator is something you do want to have for those short-term situations, but you should really look and consider some sorts of renewable energy sources. So maybe that's solar or wind or hydro, or even like a wood gas gasifier, something along those lines where you could power it more indefinitely. Now, a generator could work good if you had a still and you could, make ethanol and burn ethanol in it or something along those lines, then that could be a potential option. Let's see. Number 6 is a household bleach, because it starts to lose potency after about 6 months. And so the alternative to that is you want to go ahead and use like an HTH pool shock. It's a solidified form of chlorine. It's going to last a lot longer. I've done a video in the past on that, on how to make, liquid chlorine bleach basically from the pool shock. And that lasts a long time. You got to make sure you store it in plastic containers. Don't store it in metal containers because it's highly corrosive and all that stuff. But it's a good option. It's real cheap, and just a few pounds of it will last probably a lifetime when it comes to purifying water. Number 7 is tomato-based sauces in metal cans. They only have a roughly 12 to 18 month shelf life. Instead, you want to get those tomato-based kind of sauces in glass jars, or even better, and they'll last a little longer in the glass jars, but better than that is have canning supplies and then grow your own each year and then just use it up and recycle those canning supplies to as much extent as possible anyway. Number 8 is gasoline. Again, it's good to have gasoline for short-term systems, but for long-term, you need to consider having a still where you could make ethanol or something like that. That's really the only long-term solution I could think of. Again, converting a vehicle to a wood gasifier is possible. You could also do like a biofuel kind of thing. That might be something that you could do. But so there are some alternatives, but just think about, what are you going to do in the absence of gasoline long term? All right, number 9 is hollow fiber membrane type filters. Personally, I like ceramic based filters a lot better. I think that they're more durable and they're more serviceable. You can check them in the field and see if there's any problems with them and all those kinds of things. Hollow fiber filters are completely sealed, and the tubes that are inside of them become very brittle if they get frozen and or if it gets very hot and they're exposed to a lot of temperature. So you really should replace a hollow fiber filter every year. So that's like your Sawyers, your Life Straws, your different kinds of systems that use these. They should be replaced every year. The next thing is, so I like the candle style filters like a Berkey or an Alexa Pure Pro for like an in-home filter, or I like the Katadyn and the MSR filters that use ceramic filters for out in the field. Okay, let's see, dog food. Number 10 is dog food. So dog food's only gonna last you probably 24 months or so. You might get a little bit more out of it, but if you store it real well. But you also need to have a sustainable long-term plan for feeding your animals. And maybe that is something, if you live in the country, you could have like tilapia maybe in a pond or something. That's kind of one of the things I'm considering. You can take that fish meat, mix it up with rice or something, and that could be like a semi long-term thing for animals. And that's presuming that you haven't, a large amount of rice stored, that kind of thing. Or you could allow them to hunt on their own. You're just gonna have to kind of think about something. It just depends on the kind of dogs you have and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that is the top 10 things not to stock up for long-term SHTF. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. What are some things not to stock up on that maybe people haven't really thought of? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Xander, you want to help me out with that?
Proper fire preparation prevents poor performance.
All right, have a good day, guys.